Hello everybody, how's it going today? It's Frankie here and I'm back with another sensitive topic on this channel. And considering I spoke about addiction in the previous video, it's only right that I talk about this sensitive topic, and it's called what it's like to have autism. Then me, I've got mild autism. I can't quite remember if I spoke about this on any of my videos on this channel or any of my other channels. I don't think I did. And those times there was no reason for me to mention it, right? And this was like something related to what I was talking about. And yeah, for me, if you have anybody that lives with autism, and if you have autism, if it's severe, moderate or mild, just put down in the comments on tell me what you think of it. Tell me what you think of the topic, basically, and tell me what you think. Tell me what it's like for you to have it and how you cope with it and stuff like that. It's gonna be hard for me to explain what I'm about to say in this video at some points. But I'm going to continue with it anyway. For me, I know it's only mild. I know it's mild, but it's still a disability that I've got, and it's not curable as people may think. I think there is probably one thing that could probably make it disappear, but I'm not going to get into that, right? Look, for me, it's very difficult to, live with autism, especially. Not as difficult as it is to live with somebody who has an addiction, but for me, it's something that makes me struggle more on the social aspect of things. Now, for those people that have autism and Asperger's, if you don't know what Asperger's is, it's like the higher form of autism, if you want to put it that way. I always thought it was higher because they come across as more severe. Some it could be mild, moderate, severe, but most of the time it can be severe. And if you experience this, you know what it's like on a social aspect. Now, I could talk to people, right? Because I'm mild, I can still have a sense of like talking to people. It has to be a small group of people. It could be like 2-3 maybe people I can cope with in the same room, just about. But if it's like a whole group of people, I could still be in amongst them. I just wouldn't be able to talk to them because I wouldn't know what to say. My body temperature kind of increases a bit. I get a bit flustered. It gets a bit hot and overwhelming. I can't do it, and I can't cope with it. I just about manage to get through it because I have to. It depends on what I'm doing, right? If especially with football matches, if I'm with a crowd full of people, it's quite awkward because they're not on my level. Even though I love football, but they're not on my level in terms of like socializing and stuff. Like, it depends on who I'm talking to. I think it's not just an autism thing. There's people that don't have autism that can also have this sort of like thing as well, where they want to talk to people on the level. It's with everybody, but with me, it have to be on my level. And when I was younger, I used to struggle to talk and make small talk with people. I had friends in school, don't get me wrong. I had people I hanged out with, but it felt like I was not mature enough socially to talk to people. I was atrocious. Like, I was just lucky enough to make a sentence. I used to be able to just, especially with girls back then, when I used to, back in school, I used to just be able to say hi and yeah, good, whatever. But I was hella shy and nervous. Even with guys I was talking to too, I was always making small talk and just not to socialize properly because it's awkward. There'd be times where people just find me weird in terms of like, because when you don't talk properly and it's just like blunt, people might find you a bit weird and be like, what's this person doing talking to me? I didn't get bullied, luckily enough, back in school. I was liked. Obviously, I'm Marmite with people. Like, I'm going to get people that love me and I'm going to get people that hate me. It's like that with everybody. You're going to get people that love you and you're going to get people that hate you. I know it's that case. It just depends on what I say and I come across. And also, with like certain things that you say, if you're not sociable properly, you're going to say things that are just a bit either like things that you don't mean in a certain way, or something that sounds a bit disrespectful. Whatever. I've had moments like that where I don't know how to talk to somebody and I just say the wrong thing because it's what my mind tells me to say. Usually my mind just tells me to say these things. But mind, it always is the impulse. My mind says, oh, you got to do something, you got to say this. And it's kind of like, okay, and you got to do it because it's almost like your mind is telling you to do that, and you think it's not too bad. And in my mind, I think what I say, I keep thinking it's okay to say, and it doesn't sound the best because I think it doesn't sound that bad anyway. And some people tend to not like it. So, and I don't expect people that don't have a disability, I don't expect them to understand because why would I? They don't have it. How on earth are they going to know even if you explain it to them? The best thing you can do is just try and improve on yourself and try and make sure you're on the right path on, like changing and improving. and you gotta make sure you're actually improving your sentences and stuff. It's only you it's only up to you that has to help yourself out in the situation. And yeah, it's like when people explain stuff to me that I haven't been through, it's kind of like, yeah, especially, yeah, it's like, I don't know what else to say because I'm in a situation, but I'm usually the best person to talk to in that sort of, like, when people have issues that I haven't gone through, because I can tell them to, I can give them a bit of tough talk and tough love. Same if somebody doesn't have autism, I think it's probably more better that somebody doesn't have a disability talks to me, because they can try and improve on me more, because they don't have issues in the same region as I do. But at the same time, I connect with people that have disabilities because they're on my level, because I've got disabilities. So it's kind of like an understanding. I connect with them more. And also, in terms of, it's how we talk to each other. It's how me and my friends communicate like that. Because majority of people I know have either disability or learning difficulty. So we kind of like connect, and we kind of like, have things in common, if that makes any sort of sense. So yeah, we sort of have things in common. Now, I'm not saying it's always going to be the case. There's people that have disabilities that connect with people that don't have disabilities. So it's not always the case. There's people that connect differently. People's mindsets are different. But for me, it struggles me more because, I can't be able to do certain things. It's like when I was working at Pizza Express, I couldn't talk to people because with strangers, I don't know how they're going to react. And what do I say to them? I don't know them. Only if I can say is, do you want this or do you want that? That's the only thing I used to be able to say. And that could also come down to not just a disability level, but in a normal level. Like, it's normal to react to strangers a certain way, because what you say to them, you don't know them, they don't know you. So if you try to make small talk with them, they're gonna be like, "Is this guy weird or something?" I know it's polite, I know it's how a restaurant works, but I find it awkward trying to communicate a way to a waitress at a restaurant. I just usually say what I want and stuff. That's it. So it kind of feels that way. It's normal because you have no idea what they're about. You have no idea what intention and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a normal thing. But if us people with disabilities, we kind of freeze and be like, yeah, that's kind of me, okay. It's kind of something's holding you back. That person's like a barrier, basically. If that makes any sort of sense. That person's kind of like, you're treating them like they're invisible, but you're sensing that they're there. If that makes any sort of sense. And also, especially a group of people with like, they're around a table, and I can't. I mean, I was lucky enough to, because it's a job, I had to say something. I can't just freeze. At that moment, even if you've got a mild disability or severe, whatever it is, you still got to talk somewhere. It's like, I'm pretty sure that not all disabilities, like not all autistic and I suppose people are introverts, and I'm one of the autistic people that is an introvert, basically. I like to stay inside, but I have to go out. When you get older, your mindset changes and you have to learn. You gotta be mature. I mean, I go out when I have to. I've got to, right? Especially to see my daughter. I have to go to my baby mum's house to see her. So in any case, oh my god, I'm trying to get my words out. In any case, we are all introverts and extroverts to an extent. So that's one thing. And people that have got disabilities tend to like gaming a lot. It's not all of them, I'm just saying. So I mean, I'm only relating to myself, but I know there's a lot of autistic aspect people out there like gaming, like doing a certain kind of thing as well that they enjoy doing. And I love gaming. I'm playing on the Fire Stick that I've been playing for the past 2 days. It's an early birthday present. My birthday is next Friday. Basically on the 12th. You can say this Friday, next Friday, whatever you want to say. So it's on the 12th basically. So in a few days time. So yeah, and it's brilliant, by the way. That I would highly recommend getting a gaming stick. It's got over 40,000 plus games. It's brilliant. So I highly recommend it. That could be for a separate video. I could talk about that. But yeah, also in terms of like, I also have a sense about not OCD, but I've got something similar where if I'm touching a box and I have to eat after that, I can't really eat and use that because I just touched my hands on some box that would feel dusty or because it's the material. It's how it feels. Like if I'm touching something, else, I would need to wash my hands with soap or whatever because I don't like the germs. It just feels weird because I've got to eat with those same hands too, bear that in mind. and I don't like touching something that's a bit dusty there because I don't like it. It just, I mean, who does like that sort of stuff? I mean, no one has got dirt on their hands. And yeah, it just feels a bit nasty. I'm a bit sensitive like that, and that can be pretty difficult too. Bear that in mind. Especially using, I don't mind asking for help, but it can be a bit awkward. I don't like that because I hate when I'm doing something and people are watching me. Unless they're helping me out, unless they're talking or giving me advice, I don't mind. But I don't like it when I'm in a room full of people and I'm doing something and they all start looking at me out there like I'm doing something wrong. It's very nerve-wracking and awkward. I get someone's trying to monitor and help me, but that's where I can't do stuff properly. If I'm doing some sort of housework over, that's when I can't do something properly because people watch me and start saying, well done, nice one, yes. I just deal with it because I got no choice. I just deal with it anyway, ignore it and block it up. It's awkward as hell. I just don't like it. This is why I zone out. Or I don't. It's like when I work at the previous job, right? Which is in Metropolitan Archives. The cleaning there, it was only 2 hours and it was way too much, right? I was good at what I was doing, but I wasn't quite quick enough, and I couldn't get everything cleaned on time, which is nothing wrong with. I was trying my best. I went and did it. I wasn't lazy. I cleaned what was necessary. He said, "Oh, this stuff ain't clean properly." I was like, okay. But when I do it, there's always smudges and everything being left. I was just like, it's got too much. The things of having a disability, things can become too much for you, especially cleaning up jobs like that and the time, and it's put too much pressure for me, and I couldn't. And this is where I can only do certain jobs. I can't exactly do a job that's physical. I can't do a job that's too technical. The only job I can probably maintain is a social media job. That's hard to get into. Cleaning job, if it's at Pizza Express, I'll do it, or any other restaurant. I can manage just about. This is what I mean. When you have disabilities, not in every case, but some people have disabilities tend to do certain jobs and they can't do certain things. I struggle to know how to use a coffee machine at restaurants. I struggle to know how to use a little computer where you put the tables and stuff like the orders. I struggled there because I was confused by it. I didn't understand it. And it is a struggle. But I managed to just be a foodie and just get on with it. You know, clean aspects of things, like as well in that case what I just mentioned, I can make mistakes, but I still do it at the end of the day. But it's still pretty tough. It's often what options I've got. It's limited for me, especially. That's what I mean. But I feel like I have made improvements in my social skills as well. I think ever since, I feel like college is a big turning point. It should be a big turning point for everybody, because when you start, that's when you're middle adult and you go to college. Then that's when you start. You get 16 or 17, just depends. So you got to start mature when you go to college by yourself, and people do go to college by themselves. I'm just saying. But that's when you got to be a bit more independent, because you're doing assignments and stuff at school. Schools, you can still be a bit immature. You're still a bit nerve-wracking. That's not where it starts. Your life starts from college, right? When you do that one subject you're going to enjoy. It might not be the main subject for your career, but it's definitely a main subject you're doing for a few years. But you could choose to leave it and get a job. That's the thing. People keep criticizing me for saying you got to do this, you got to do that. Jobs aren't easy to come by for me. I can't even do a job where you're going to talk. Over the phone, I just about handle it. I used to be awkward with the phone, but it depends. If I'm talking to a professional, sometimes it does me a complicated question I don't understand. I wouldn't know. I would need help explaining it. It's very difficult for me in a lot of aspects, and people just don't quite get that. And I don't blame them, to be fair. And people do give me the kick at the backside at times, saying, "No, you got to socialize. You got to do this. You got to keep with it." And it's true. I did have to socialize, but it took me a while to get there, and I did eventually. I wouldn't say I massively improved, but I'm talking to my friends a lot more than how I used to talk to people in general. And it's normal, right? Friends, you're going to start socializing because you know them, quite a while. And you start to connect with them and stuff. It happens like that. And, and me having a disability, just because you have a disability doesn't mean you can't have kids. But bear that in mind. So, when my daughter first came into this world, I had to, what's that word you call it? I would have to step up. That's it. I had to step up, give money and buy stuff. I had to at that moment. I can't use my disability as an excuse to not do anything. And even though it can be quite difficult to talk in some aspects, I just find it quite awkward in professional talk to me because I wouldn't know what to say, right? But I feel like I've improved a bit, but not. There's still going to be that sense of like, be a bit awkward and nerve-wracking when certain people talk to me. I wouldn't know how to respond. I used to be at those sort of situations like birthdays and Christmas parties where there was a whole load of people. What else do you say? Like, I'm awkward. I mean, I'm not. It also relates to, it's not really a lack of confidence because my mentality and my social issues stop me. I've got social issues that can be quite awkward, socially awkward. So I can't go in the room for people. I get hot and it gets a bit too much of me and I have to leave. It's not really for me at all. If I was severely autistic, I wouldn't be able to talk whatsoever, and I'd be like a bit like emotional, a bit way more sensitive. I'm sensitive now, but to an extent. And yeah, I don't have a temper tantrum, by the way. I'm not one of those that just have like throw things everywhere, or just kick stuff or whatever. I can be a bit annoyed. I mean, that's a normal emotion to have, being a bit annoyed. Don't know if I'll call that an emotion, but you know what I mean. And yeah, it's quite tough actually. To be honest, I know something else. I know people that has got autism and that's Asperger's. Not going to mention names. Not going to mention who, but I know them, and some of them cope a bit more than I do. Even the ones that are moderate, they still go out there and they still do something, but they do better jobs than me. I'm telling you, it's a struggle for me to know what to do because there's certain things I don't understand and I struggle with, so I do need help with them. Yeah, so that's all I can say basically. Yeah, just let me know what you think, because look, autism is quite difficult, I'm not gonna lie. If you have a child with autism, you're gonna have to learn like how you're going to cope with that, especially on like a social level, trying to get them out or whatever it is. They might be they can be self-conscious, they might be a bit scared to do whatever, to do certain things. You just got to try and make sure they're used to it. Just give them time, because obviously when they're a child they got to develop, but when they become a teenager, that's when you got to start thinking about how to make them improve like that, because it's going to be difficult once they know how to improve on social skills, because they wouldn't know what to do in certain situations. But yeah, there's been times where I've frozen up, but I feel like I have to be a bit more confident now. I think I'm a bit more improved, but I'm not gonna socialize with people I don't know straight away, unless I'm alone in the room with them or whatever. Then yeah, fair enough. But I'm not gonna socialize straight away. People just seem to think, oh, if autistic people socialize more, they would improve. No, they would not. They gotta get time to be close to certain people. They gotta have time. They can't just be like, oh yeah, well that's true, yeah, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? And also we also like schedules. That's one thing I forgot to mention. I usually like to eat breakfast, lunch and dinner at certain times. I like doing stuff at certain times. I can't miss certain things at a certain time. It's like you have to have schedules, and it's normal. That's a good thing. I like to be a bit organized. You know, when you have autism, Asperger's, they're most smartest and one of the most smartest and organized people out there, because they prefer schedules anyway, so they have everything in schedule in place. We all have to have schedules anyway, so I think that is a bit normal. I feel like some things are a bit exaggerated. It comes to this, like, oh, it only happens with like people with disabilities, they have this. No, everyone needs to be scheduled and organized. You know, when I go outside, I can't forget anything that I need. You know, when I'm outside, I have to keep checking if I've got my phone, my keys, my bank, everything I have to keep checking. It's mad. It's quite tough. You know, it's tough to not maintain that schedule. So yeah, I don't know what else I forgot, by the way. I think that's more safe. I think it's more to do with me as well, and it is quite difficult for me. But I've learned to improve in that, and actually, videos help me. Videos makes me more confident out there. You know, it's helped me. It makes me connect with audiences. I'm not in front of people. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm not in front of people at all. Like being in front of camera, it's kind of like my opinions on things, and it's like a comfort thing. If it wasn't for comedy as well, comedy's helped me be more confident, because telling jokes and banter makes me feel more confident. Videos, giving my own opinions on how I feel out there is way more better for me. I would encourage any person that has autism, Asperger's, or any person that's not confident, to just make videos. They'll feel better about themselves. Then they give out their own opinions to people, what they said in the video, or they can communicate with people in the comments. It feels so much better that way. I don't know what I would do without social media. I'll be lost, I'll be confused, I'll be a bit more like awkward, and I wouldn't know how to portray how I feel out there about certain things. So it's really incredibly useful. I think it'd be a bit more depressing without it. And there's some cons to social media, but you know what? Without social media, the world would be quite a boring place if you think about it. Even going outside, for me, you need something to record and do at least. Now, I don't like being outside for too long unless it's something important, you know. So yeah, I think that's everything. If I do miss anything now, I do apologize. I don't want this video to be too long. But yeah, there might be a point that I probably forgot to mention that you can mention as well. But I will reply to any comment necessary anyway, you know, as much as I can. So yeah, if you enjoyed if you enjoyed this video, please give a like, comment your thoughts, your opinions, and comment how you deal with autism, or how you deal with autistic people and Asperger's people. So just tell me your feelings and thoughts below and how you deal with it as well. So you know what I mean anyway, what I said earlier at the start of the video. Share everyone you know, subscribe and hit the notification below, as I see you in my next video.